All right, everybody. It says we're live. It's 8:45 a.m. Central Time here on this April 26th, 2020. Real quick, I just seen this while I was waiting. Greetings from Germany. I do not have any firearms, difficult to have here, but I sometimes like to listen. This channel is not a channel just about firearms, and welcome. Um, this channel is about our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, breaking news, conspiracies, Agenda 21, New World Order, etc. But right off the rip, this is going to be a very quick live stream. I'm pretty sure hardly anybody got notifications, if they got notifications at all. I want to share two videos, short videos. The second one will definitely be the one that AB had sent me. Even though it was it was a little bit, I think it was April 20th when the video was made, but the CO2 shortage and how CO2 is linked to preserving meats, etc., making beer, making soda, stuff like that. So before I even address, it's going to be so short that people that come across it, they don't want to hear me yapping and yapping before I get to the brass tacks of it all. But Angela's in the house. I can't even say your name there. People know I read and spell like a drunk 3-year-old. Holliner something 80. Thank you for coming in. Brother AB's in the house. Sister Rhonda R. Sister Diane Blue. Michelle Morning from Naples, Florida. Good to see you. Did a lot of concrete work in Naples, Florida. Sister Renee Vester's in the house. Sister Renee Koser's in the house. I want to get started by sharing this real quick. This Mike Huckabee and Trey Gowdy, who I absolutely love. Trey Gowdy. Got it. This is what I want to discuss about the abuse of power with these governors, and they touch on it here a bit. And I love what Trey Gowdy has to say. If you haven't seen this clip, this was, I believe, uploaded this morning.
Welcome back to this special edition of Hannity. As state and local governments attempt to mitigate the spread of COVID-19, some are now being accused of trampling on the constitutional rights of American citizens. For example, in Houston, a new mandate would fine residents $1,000 just for not wearing a mask in public. Houston's police union president is calling the measure draconian. Others are protesting the mandate, which is now facing a court challenge. And in Michigan, state lawmakers attempting to restrain the governor's emergency powers after she issued widespread bans, at one point even prohibiting members of the same family from visiting each other. My guess is there are some families who would actually approve of that, but not many. Governor Gretchen Whitmer today announced that she was going to ease some of the stay-at-home orders, but the governor continues to face a wave of criticism. And in Washington state, that state one vote away from releasing some of its most dangerous inmates, all to fight the spread of COVID-19. In a 5-4
Listen to this here, people. It's very important
decision, the state Supreme Court denied the release of these convicts, including potentially the Green River Killer. Joining us now with more, Fox News contributor Trey Gowdy. Trey, you were in Congress long enough to not like it very well. You're back home in South Carolina, but what we're seeing all across the country is some very heavy-handed policies being passed out at the local level by governors and county commissions and mayors. Is this a threat to the long-term life and liberty of the United States and its people?
Well, first of all, Governor, it's great to be with you. Yeah, there has to be a rationality. Anytime government asks the citizenry to do something, there has to be a rational basis for it. And the greater the freedom you infringe, the more compelling the reason has to be. So if I'm going to imprison you or fine you for not wearing a mask, why can't I hold you down and vaccinate you against the flu this fall? I mean, you don't want the flu and COVID-19. So can I involuntarily vaccinate you? Can I show up at your house and make sure you're doing your burpees and your planks and your jumping jacks? Because obesity and COVID-19 don't go well together. Where does it stop? And in Houston, Governor, if you can believe this, they're threatening to punish people for not wearing a mask. Meanwhile, in Washington State, they're going to let a serial killer. They're one vote away from letting a serial killer out because of COVID-19. So you go to jail for not wearing a mask, but if you kill 4 dozen women because of COVID-19, we might let you out. That is irrational.
You were in the Justice Department as a federal prosecutor prior to going to Congress, so you understand the Justice Department. You also understand the power of the federal government and what they can do. But the federal government can also defend civil liberties if they want to. And right now, Attorney General Bill Barr seems to be indicating that he's willing to stand up for citizens to make sure that constitutional rights don't get trampled on. What do you think is going to happen out of that?
Well, I think we're really lucky. We have a real lawyer as the AG. I mean, he is a real lawyer. So he understands that for government to be able to impinge on a freedom or infringe on a freedom, there has to be a rational basis and sometimes a compelling reason. So if I'm going to tell you, Governor, that you can't go visit your mom, that's a fundamental right that you have. So the reason I offer to keep you from doing that has to be incredibly compelling. It has to be more than just the governor of Michigan thinks it's a good idea. If I tell you that you have to wear something in public, there has to be a rational basis for that. So Barr is smart enough to know that, and he'll put the power of the federal government and grants for those states to municipalities that don't want to go along with the power of the purse and the power to go to court.
Congressman Gaddy, we've seen some pretty crazy stuff, like in Michigan. The governor says you can't mow your lawn. I'm having a hard time understanding how mowing a lawn is going to make me more subject to getting the COVID-19 virus.
Yeah, it is the responsibility. You were the governor of a great state, Arkansas. She's the governor of a great state. It is her job to persuade her citizenry that what she's telling them they cannot do is somehow rationally rooted in public health. So good luck convincing anyone that mowing your front lawn is going to make you more susceptible to COVID-19. Look, I get encouraging people not to go see those that are vulnerable. But asking me not to go see my mom is very different from telling me that I am forbidden on penalty of law from going to see my mom. And that's what has the protesters and other. I'm not a protester, but I want government to explain to me if I'm going to infringe on your freedom, it's for a compelling reason. Americans are sacrificial, Governor. You know that. They're sacrificial, but
Yes,
it's not too much to ask. Why are you making me do that? And is it rooted in some rationality that is connected with what we're trying to prevent? And if it's not, then we have this thing called civil disobedience, and people can engage in it.
All right, people. That's what I wanted to touch on right there when it talks about. I really, really love how Trey Gowdy broke it down, and I strongly urge people that have the ability to, if you're close to if you know of a rally that's coming up or a protest in your state, to go ahead and join, because hold on, I'm trying to read the comments here, but this just goes to show you the sheer totalitarian dictatorship that a lot of these governors, yes, it's bass backwards. It's crazy. So brother Jason's in the house. Prayers for my girls, and girls that needed. Love, locked and loaded family. Holler at me, Jay, on the phone sometime. Love you, man. Love you too, brother Jason. I'll go ahead and I'll give you a call here after a while today, for sure. But just by watching that, I'm not ignoring you, Jason. But that right there, that's a very, very slippery slope there, Brian. So question, when does the Second Amendment become needed in times like this? I believe our Second Amendment will, be used our Second Amendment is to fight against tyrannical government, but that to me is a complete takeover, etc., more violent. But our Second Amendment, we need strictly for if and when civil unrest pops off. And civil unrest is definitely going to pop off because the next video I'm going to show you is another YouTuber, but I got the link from brother AB this last night. I want to go live about it. The lack of CO2 and how CO2 is used in preserving meats, etc., and the shutting down of all these big, huge meat manufacturing companies. CO2 is used to make alcohol or beer, and soda. So there's going to be possibly a mass shooting. Sorry about that. I got that on my head there for talking about Second Amendment. There is going to be DP a pig. Keep an eye on. No, DB is definitely not a pig. I see. I'm reading something wrong. But anyways, getting back to, I'll keep an eye on that there for you, DB. There is definitely going to be civil unrest over the horizon. If you don't believe it, like I said, you take away people that are sheltered in place, stay-at-home order, etc., and then all of a sudden there's a major food shortage, which is just right over the horizon. And then when it comes to beer, how much of a shortage of beer is there going to be? Even soda, etc. And certain parts of the United States, there will be massive riots. There's going to be massive. This is not fear porn, whatever. Possible shortages. You gotta say that. It's all good, DB. Okay, I'm sorry I read it wrong. But when you take away alcohol, beer, etc., from people that are just trying to cope with the, self-medicating or just having a good time, that's a great way to pop off civil unrest. Why are all these laws being put into place, all these executive orders? To create civil unrest, to create people to go out and protest, and then finally have enough of it. And then you're going to have these radicals, and then you're going to have these people, these undercover freaking Antifa, idiots acting like they're patriots. And there might be a FF, false flag event. You never know the times we're living in. But real quick, I want to go and I want to find the video that was shared, and I'm gonna play it for a little bit and just listen if you can hear it, and hear about some of these manufactured meat plants that are being guarded by the National Guard. I mean, I have no idea why the National Guard needs to guard meat factories. Oh yeah, good point. Exactly. Thank you very much, Andrew, putting that up there. CO2 for clean water too, Justin. That's huge. That's another huge one. Go ahead and take away our food supply. Go ahead and our clean water, etc. Go ahead and take away the alcohol. There's definitely going to be an uprise, and there's going to be riots. There's going to be civil unrest. Is this fear porn? No. If you don't believe me, give it a week or two. Give it 2 weeks tops, and see what happens in some of these states, some cities where they just had enough and they can't get beer. That shortage of food, their kids are starving. But you're going to need that Second Amendment going back when some of these thugs or whoever, or even just mothers and fathers that are desperate to feed their families because they didn't heed warning and stock up on food, but they do happen to have a weapon, and they know Grandma and Grandpa Smith down the street have been canning canned goods for years because they've talked to them. They've made gardens every year, and they know that they got food in there. There's a possibility that they'll put their moral compass to the side, and they will kick in the door and either kill or beat up or whatever and take that food. And if people say, oh, that'll never happen, crazy. And look at the mindset. If you have someone in your family that's so far left and believe in what the governors are doing, then send them, share this video, just and tell them to watch the part where Trey Gowdy talks about, okay, if you don't wear a mask, they can fine you up to $1,000. In some states, is $1,000 in 18 months or 180 days in jail. But they are, willing to release a serial killer out on the streets in Washington that killed dozens of women, along with pedophiles, rapists, etc., to prevent the spread of the coronavirus? No, it's to create civil unrest. It's to create more fear into the people, knowing that these convicts are being released. And this is part of the Agenda 21, the New World Order, etc. But before I get wrapping off too much, I'm going to go right towards this CO2 thing. I wasn't even aware that CO2 shortage was here, around the world or wherever. And I didn't realize how much we depend on CO2 for certain things. That's why I wanted to share it with you. And once again, I thank AB. AB, I sent you a link if you want to come up when I'm sharing this. I'll try it again because I know you're not too tired there, brother. So bear with me 1 second. This is going to be a short live stream. I wasn't even planning on going live. I doubt I'll be going tonight. Real quick, shout out to Little Smiley. Happy birthday. Today's his birthday. I was going to do a live stream with Little Smiley today, but I think it'd be best that have somebody else do the live stream for you. I got some things to do today. All right. Now let me go back to my history. Bam. Turn the volume off here. Stupid ads. No, I don't want a free month trial of that. All right, I'm gonna go back here. Let's try AB's here. What's up, brother AB?
Morning, sunshine.
Morning, sunshine. Boy, you're whispering. I know that,
Trying to be quiet, not disturb the people that worked last night.
yeah, you don't want to wake up your wife, that's for sure. I don't blame you. All right, real quick, I'm gonna share the screen here. Share screen, share audio, bada boom, share. Yes, I got it. Oops, it's playing. Crap. This guy's he does a really good job explaining. So here we go. This is
collectively sort of waiting. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it feels like people are ready to be breathing a sigh of relief right now, collectively sort of waiting for that announcement that we've flattened the curve and that things are going to be better tomorrow. I'm afraid that that's not the case. Maybe we have flattened the curve, and that's certainly worth celebrating. But in many cases, the damage has been done, certainly to the economy, and then, as I intend to show you tonight, to our food supply. We're getting warnings from Washington State that due to a shortage of CO2, municipal water supplies might even dry up in some of the cities there. So food and water supplies now very much at threat. And CO2, of course, used in the production of beer and soda as well. So Americans without their beer and then without their meat, as we've been talking about, this could prove to be a pretty ugly summer. It's setting up that way. And Iowa today actually engaged their National Guard, sending them in to defend meat plants from the virus infection. It sounds, this is just a ludicrous headline.
What did I just do? Unbelievable. Bear with me here. Crap.
Our small business community who are going through so much now and need
Oh, shut the heck up.
She certainly understands what it means to foster economic strength, but from a perspective.
There's
of
another
fairness,
piece of
child
garbage.
of Filipino immigrants. I remember
6'8"
when I first
tall
talked to
piece
her,
of
the
garbage right
passion with
there.
which she spoke about helping
All right.
working people.
I did something wrong there. Let me go back and try again. Let me scroll through the chat here real quick. Sister Christy's in the house. Terry Christ. Brother Benny's in the house. All Smiles is in the house. A lot of people in the house right now. 36 in the house. Huh. Figured Sammy would be up and about. I don't see her in the chat nowhere.
Yeah, she was on here earlier.
Was she?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, shout out to everybody in the house, Bad Boy Channel. Nixon, hey, what's up? Nixon, good to see you. Long time no see. Let me get back to this video. I hit a wrong button, but it is very important. But I want to know, what on earth does the National Guard need to why does the National Guard have to protect a meat factory? Sorry, I'm just trying to search.
The only thing I can say on that one, what I've understood about National Guard, is they have cleanup crews. Now, I don't know if they're protecting. Maybe that got reworded. But I do know they have showed up in areas to help clean up. You know, they got the hazmat suits and all the goodies. So,
Well, I believe he
shows
shows the article.
Does it?
I'm not sure. Yeah, where it talks about they were placed there to guard. Let me hit pause here.
Well, maybe they're scared people won't come in and steal meats. I don't know.
Well, I just don't think it's when it comes to. All right, I'm already on shared screen.
Yeah, I was reading comments, and Frugal said, you know, it might be a hoax. And then I commented, I said, I don't know, but the people that I know in the poultry industry are saying there is a shortage.
Well, yeah, and you're right there as a independent truck driver. You used to haul a lot of that.
I still got
a lot of
contacts. That's what they're telling me.
Well,
You
yeah,
know, and that's why I said to Frugal, you know, any info. I mean, because bottom line is, I like to know what's real and what ain't, and we get so much information that may or may not be true. That's just like the Kim Jong-un thing. Who knows if the
Right.
guy's dead or alive?
Exactly.
We'll never know the truth.
Right. Well, I'm gonna hit play real quick.
Go ahead and do that. Shut my hole.
No, it's not that. I just keep everybody, then get on.
And then
discussion.
without their meat, as we've been talking about, this could prove to be a pretty ugly summer. It's setting up that way. And Iowa today actually engaged their National Guard, sending them in to defend meat plants from the virus infection. It sounds, this is just a ludicrous headline, but this is actually going on today, Monday, April 20th, 2020, because JBS just shut down one of their major pork processing plants, which combined with the Smithfield plant, processes about 10% of the pork capacity in the United States. And that's just those two closures. There are others, and there are domino effects from those. Plus, as if all that weren't enough, countries around the world are looking at the wheat supply and saying, due to the
this here's big too, people.
U.S. has the smallest planted acres in many years, and countries are starting to, like Russia, have started to stop exporting. So now countries are hoarding wheat around the world. All of these things are relevant to your food security and to your family's well-being. And so we're going to talk about them. I'm Christian, and this is the Ice Age Farmer channel. And I want to start off with the carbon dioxide because it's a pretty well-contained story that says Washington emergency board meetings have revealed that today they were noticed due to a force majeure that was declared by their CO2 provider, that due to the fact that ethanol plants have been shut down for several weeks now, that CO2, which is an output of those plants, is not available, that they were reduced down 33% of their expected CO2. And of course, municipal water supplies use CO2 in their scrubbers. They use that to purify the water that they send back out, so in their water treatment facilities. So this is still something that is developed. It's just been announced, a very dynamic situation, and perhaps they'll find somewhere else from whence to source their CO2. But as of right now, officials in Washington are scrambling to ensure that they can keep water coming to the faucets across cities in Washington. It's also interesting that the emergency board actually explicitly called out that the CO2 shortage would also affect beer production, as if they know that's the only thing pacifying some number of Americans right now. The supply, quote, is rapidly deteriorating. Absent some intervention to keep these facilities running, it will further deteriorate. We're on the verge of something fairly disruptive to American life. It's going to be hard to come by. And of course, I want to note that CO2 is also used as a refrigerant for keeping meat cold, for freezers and meat supply. And let's actually talk now more about that meat. I've explored this in a few previous reports, and people have been quick to call me out as fear mongering and these sorts of things. But the bottom line is that this is a very precariously positioned industry right now, where the meat packers are a single point of failure. They are I've seen them described as the weakest link in our food supply system. And right now, they're also the biggest source of coronavirus in the United States, second to New York City. So it's a weird situation, but Iowa has indeed sent in the National Guard today.
See that right there, AB? Iowa
Yeah.
sends National Guard
Yeah.
troops to defend.
Defend.
Yeah. Makes no sense. No
Well,
sense at all.
it says defend meat plants from virus. Now, how are you going to defend a meat plant from virus?
That's what I'm saying. I'm not talking.
But I do know for a fact, I can tell you for a fact that the meat plants are, a lot of them are, they have supposedly confirmed cases, and a lot of them, they're struggling with it. People that are sick and they're sent home. So I do know that is for fact. The CO2 shortage, I mean, you never know. I'm going to try to verify some more on this and ask a few more people and dig a little deeper. But anyway.
Well, how many people right now are working that are sick with the flu virus, like last year, that were in the meat plants?
Well, good point.
So they didn't close all the meat plants down and have National Guards defending meat plants from the virus, from the flu virus.
I totally see your point. I go with that too. That's where I'm sitting here going, what's the big picture?
Right.
Because exactly. I mean, I do know these plants are shut down, and for whatever reason they want to claim, but whether it's to starve us, I mean, I don't know. You could go in all kinds of directions with that.
Yeah, there's and that's what we'll talk about on the next live stream, how this all ties with Agenda 21, New World Order. And yes, people, if you haven't been a part of this channel and you're new, we are all wide awake to the New World Order agenda, Agenda 21, Agenda 30, Georgia Guidestones. We talk about it, the elites, the global elitists, the Rockefellers, the Rothschilds, the vaccine pushers, etc. So this channel here is
and wigs. We talk about wigs here.
Oh yeah, we got. We'll definitely have to have you pop on and right before we get off here and show that luscious, beautiful AB hair. And let me hit play.
To defend meat plants from virus, what they mean by that is not exactly with guns, but to do contact tracing and various temperature checks for employees. Quote, at some point, if we don't get this under control, we're going to have to be talking about euthanizing hogs, and we're not that far from it. Reynolds told reporters that would be...
They are already euthanizing hogs, by the way. But this was in April 20th.
Devastating not only for the food supply, but for the cost of food going forward. Unfortunately, this has already started happening. I've got report from across the industry, people telling me that all sorts of animals are being euthanized right now. And I did want to mention that also it's been reported that Tyson, the situation in general is just being terribly mismanaged. Tyson, it's now been documented, has been moving sick workers from, and I did want to mention
this headline here: Tyson workers say they were sick clinics seeing tons of COVID-19 that right there, I don't believe. You know, not many people are being tested, and coming in with flu-like symptoms could be the flu. COVID-19, is it real? A lot of people say it's a hoax. Yeah, I believe it's real. I believe it's highly contagious, but I don't believe the numbers. The numbers are hyperinflated on the death toll, and it's already been proven. Hospitals have gotten, they're told if anybody dies of any type of a respiratory syndrome or whatever, to mark it down as a coronavirus death.
They get paid. They get paid $13,000.
13,000. Yep.
And 30,000 for a death, if I'm not mistaken. I might be wrong, but the 13,000 been floated around everywhere for a confirmed case. And they have shut one of our plants down in Camilla, Georgia. I think it was Tyson, because they had 4 deaths from 4 deaths. I'll leave that alone.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's killing people, but it's not killing everybody they're saying it's killing.
Is it enough to shut the economy down?
Absolutely not. There's another video I want to share too, where they show Sweden and Norway.
Yeah, the numbers. That doctor,
yeah, the numbers.
that was going around. It was going around on Facebook. It's a doctor sitting there going over the numbers. And,
I shared you that link. That was Next News. That's one I'll share on the next live.
It's good information, and anybody that, just because me and Justin say it, or Joe or Sally, just because they say it, please, folks, do your homework. I mean, the more people that look, in my opinion, I'm not speaking for Justin. I'm not speaking for Locked and Loaded.
I say that all the time.
The more people that dig, the more people, and some information ain't out there, some of it's skewed, but the more homework we do from people that work at these places and info that we can get, you can connect the dots. I mean, I don't ever know. I say the dots will never be connected because it's just so big, but people knowing the simple thing. We need food, water, and you need shelter. And then you need to protect yourself. And taking those things away from everybody, that's where it becomes a problem. And
that's where I say this country, a lot of people think, I can't see anybody's chat, by the way, because all I see is the screen.
I'm good looking at.
If this is the agenda, people talk about socialism. I think we're going to bypass socialism and go straight to communism if something isn't stopped or changed. So I'm just going to play another minute or two of this and then hop back on the panel.
Continue on, driver.
Sir, yes, sir, there, AB.
Mentioned that. Also, it's been reported that Tyson, the situation in general is just being terribly mismanaged. Tyson, it's now been documented, has been moving sick workers from one plant as it closes down to another plant that's still open, virtually guaranteeing the spread of the virus across their facilities. So we hear, quote, hundreds of Tyson employees in Waterloo, which is still open as of today, but a couple of days now, have refused to work in recent days, which also slows them down, plants. According to multiple people, they say the company is not protecting workers from coronavirus spread. According to Tyson's large non-English speaking population, workers are saying employees from closed plants are being moved to Waterloo with no quarantine time in between. And so that's why people are refusing to go to work. Workers are not being provided with PPE or hand sanitizers, and it's just a bad situation. Now, whether you believe that this is just horrific mismanagement, these people are perhaps under a lot of pressure to keep the food supply running, to keep the profits coming in, whatever the case is, or if you think this is a deliberate sabotage of the meat processing plants, guaranteeing that we will be seeing meat shortages and setting the stage for the meatless agenda, for the plant-based, the lab-grown, all of these things that we know are coming. I leave that to you. All I can say here is that it is absolute truth that Tyson.
Well, he makes a good point there. And if y'all know crazy ass AOC, when she wanted to stop emissions, so to speak, by cow farts and actually killing off cows and making hamburgers and steaks illegal, that would make sense if they're, that's a part of a far left ideology, communist, crazy, global warming whack jobs, that I don't know. But
well, some of the points now, I'm gonna say this. I know for a fact at one poultry company. They handed out masks, and these masks were some of the crappiest. I mean, you know, the video that went around showing the people making the mask and they were falling on the floor was another foreign country. I try not to pick on anybody from foreign countries, but it was a foreign country and they were making these masks, and these masks that they handed out, they don't do anything, you know, other than probably catch a little steam. I don't know, but it was for show, basically, is what I'm saying.
Right.
And they are checking temperatures, and maybe there's somebody on here that has more medical sense than me, but I've been told the infrared, which they check you with, a lot of these places, you can get different readings all the time. There's only a real way is the you know, here we go, folks, but rectum temperature check or in the mouth. Don't use the same one for both.
Right. And why do you need the National Guard to check temperatures? You know,
I haven't seen that. I went to a few places and I can't verify. Standing there watching the people come into work, they're hitting them with the infrared, checking their temperatures, and I guess they pass, they go in, and I don't know what happens if they don't, but I do know all that is going on, you know, some of the stuff. But, you know, getting back to CO2, I can't, you know, I'm just going by what I hear. The stuff that I can tell you that I've seen, because I say this all the time. I'm from the show me state, even though I ain't from Missouri. If you tell me there's aliens, I want to meet one. If you tell me, you know, that's just the way I am. I mean, I listen to a lot of stuff, but when I see it firsthand, then I say, that's true. I'm looking at it right here.
Well, I've never been to Italy, and I know Italy exists, so sometimes you got to be a little open-minded. I know what you're saying, AB. I had to throw that jab at you.
It hurt too. You butt hurt me.
I don't want to be here when this is over. I want to remember what it. Yeah, I feel you there, frugal.
I can go with that because I remember the good old days in the 80s and 90s, and I sit back and reminisce about how things were, and just looking at it now, just going, wow, where have we went? You know, as people, work ethic and all kinds of stuff. I look and I just go, damn. That's all I can say is damn.
Exactly. And we go here. China is all about power. Forget the people. That's what's happening here. You know, people want to blame Trump and this and that. It's way more complex than anything that you know.
Somebody made a comment. Bernie made we're under lockdown until May 8th. Then open
Brother
up
Bernie,
3 phases.
We're on lockdown in Wisconsin until May 28th. They extended it a while back. So, but anyways, I just wanted to share these videos once again. The important. Can you tell me, since you know you haul poultry, or you were, now you're at almost a standstill, independent trucker, AB. When it comes to CO2, you're talking about Chick-fil-A's chicken. Can you explain that to everybody?
Chick-fil-A wants they do serve probably one of the best chicken, in my opinion. Again, I'm not advertising Chick-fil-A, but in my opinion, they serve one of the best chicken sandwiches, and they do flash freeze.
Flash freeze their chicken.
Flash freeze real quick within seconds with CO2.
So
there's a difference. There is a difference between putting it in the freezer. And I've bought shrimp from a guy in Louisiana for years, and they would flash freeze. You can't hardly tell the difference, and it looks fresh. It doesn't have the white streaks in it. So as far as, you know, that's a part of our mass food. I mean, you just can't, you know, if Chick-fil-A had a chicken pen behind their place there and they killed them right on spot, that's as fresh as you can get. Well, we don't do that. So, you know, there are some things that stuff is better, you know, it's better than having that than chicken that's been froze for months. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
It's a give or take. I mean, you know, a lot of people don't support the poultry industry or something like that. We still got to eat. So, you know, it's a needed thing, you know, but making it as clean as healthy, that's my biggest thing. When I haul my product, I don't want my temperatures. I want them to stay cold. I want my product that I haul that's going to somebody's house to be as good as it can be, and especially in today's time. So that's how I take it personally, you know.
Right, exactly. A lot of people are talking about different states they're in and when how far the lockdown is. I strongly believe that they're going to do again when we get closer to the mid-May, like May 5th, or even the beginning of May. They're going to extend it even further, or maybe days before, like New Orleans lockdown May 16th. You might get till May 10th, and they're going to extend it till another month. Hopefully not, because this is all. It's not BS, but it's the virus does exist. Like I said, but the death tolls are so hyperinflated. There's
Scare
people are
tactic.
making
They've scared people.
yeah, and people are making a fortune off of this COVID. Bill Gates
Just
and
wait and
Fauci
see.
are looking.
Just wait. Yeah, just wait and see if they do develop a vaccine.
Mhm.
Look at those companies who's involved and watch their profits. I mean, that's the telltale thing right there. In the publicly traded companies, you can see their profits, and you look and see where they're chase the dollar, man. That's what I tell people when it comes to voting. If they want to vote, follow the dollar. If it reaches you morally, if it's what you want.
Exactly. Andrea makes a great point here. Goblin Gates, no medical experience. Money talks, eugenics walk, never closed abortion clinics. And yeah, certain states, they close, I don't know, just so much, and so-called non-essential businesses. But boy, they sure kept those abortion clinics up and going. We're trying to save lives. We want to protect the children. But all along, I guarantee. Did you imagine when they first did the lockdown and talked about the death toll when they started doing the death toll of the COVID-19 in the United States? If they would have kept track of how many children have been aborted since that same date, oh, I guarantee it's astronomical.
We can't keep up with those numbers, though.
No, a lot of them are hidden. It's all profit. It's satanic. It's horrible. The people that are just that. It just sickens me that our tax dollars, when you're working hard, just like when you're out there, AB. Or I'm doing my thing and then I'm paying my taxes, pouring concrete, whatever, that a portion of that money is going to the government and to help kill a baby.
Yeah, fund abortion clinics. I try to generally steer clear from that because it is a legal right in this country. And it is a legal right, but it's a choice. It's not my choice. I mean, I've got two wonderful kids and things happen, though. I can say that there are things that happen, but it's not. It's still a
no,
child.
I know that's not. Yeah, exactly. It's they believe the child is not. I mean, I'm not going to go down the abortion.
I know.
But it's not. It's not considered a child or a human being until it's outside of the womb, which is complete. Utter nonsense. I mean, I've seen videos of my daughter's baby. When he's moving around, you can see his little foot pushing against the skin, etc. It's just, but that's a different topic another time.
Yep. I say there's certain things I try to steer clear from in conversation, and I leave it at that. And I try not to tread on people's personal beliefs and rights, as long as it is ethical. And this Bill Gates fellow here, there's a lot of things he do that I agree is not ethical. So
Bill Gates is oh man,
easy.
You dig deep in that Bill Gates rabbit hole, you'll be freaked the hell out.
Yeah.
But anyways, I really felt compelled to share those two videos.
Me and Justin talking, this is what I try to tell people. Make sure that you can buddy up with a farmer if you're in that area. Reach out and try to find your foods. And if you're as organic, and I personally don't believe in true organics because of the pollution factor, but you can grow without chemical pesticides and fertilizers. I mean, I've got a big pile of compost in my backyard that I got locally here. So that's what I believe in, because true organics is almost impossible, maybe in this country, because of the pollution factor, your water and
Well,
everything. You never know.
yeah, it's like, Rolling Homestead, Mark, Rolling Homestead. We used to do a lot of live streams together. And when I went to his house, I mean, him and his wife, they they plant a huge garden every year. I'm talking monstrous, beautiful garden. But right up against their property line is a potato field. And they come in there and they spray all those chemicals. And when the wind's just right, it's going, and it makes him so upset. And I can only imagine how upset he gets when
that's what I'm talking about. I don't want nobody to jump on me and say, well, organics. I said, no, what I consider true organics. And that's where you have strong soil, you have clean water and clean air and that, but you can still grow without these chemical pesticides and fertilizers. I mean, that's what I did. That's what I try to do now. So, and find what my point was is try to grow something. Even if you got just a back porch, grow you some tomatoes. There's nothing better than going off and pulling that tomato and making you, as we say in the South, a mater sandwich,
Oh yeah, tomato and mayonnaise.
Mm-hmm.
Big old fat tomato.
And anything you can do that would help you, and plus it's a feel good thing, You grew your own, you grew your own mater to make your mater sandwich. So
Johnny, hold on. Johnny says Bill Gates predicted Corona about 5 months ago. Creepy. No, it was already planned years and years and years ago. I know you're talking about Event 201.
201.
There's videos out there, like the video I did where I shared the clip from X-Files. That was probably 12 years old, and it talked exactly about a pandemic that will be released during a major holiday or before, and that FEMA would take over. And the president
books, man, it's creepy. I'll tell you what's creepy is listening to some of this stuff in these books and movies and things, and here we are, kind of living it today. It's I don't know, creepy is the word. It just scares the hell out of me. What else is planned? What's coming up in the next movie or a book that nobody's read that might have some kind of? It's just man,
you're right.
I love it.
You're right, and it is 1981. There was, I don't remember what the book was named.
Dean
Koontz. Talked about Dean Koontz. Okay, Dean Koontz. Koontz.
K-O-O-N-T-Z. I'm assuming Koontz.
Yeah, he wrote in 1981 a book where it talked about a Wuhan virus. It was called the Wuhan 400, and it was doesn't it say coronavirus in it? Or
I don't know if it said coronavirus or they just call it the Wuhan virus. And
Wuhan 400, Wuhan.
Yeah, something like that. Somebody sent it to me, and I'd sent it out to several people. I can't remember right off the top of my head without looking it back up. But where do these people come up with these ideas? You don't just sit. I mean, even doing a bunch of drugs, man, how can that pop into your head? I'm sitting here going, where did this info come from?
Where all these are, where all this planning is what you call Bilderberg groups. You get all these top leaders and elites and these multi-billionaires, and they sit around for 2 days and they talk about how they can depopulate, how they can rip off the masses, which we are considered cattle. Yeah, they've got the money for sure. I get sick and tired of seeing. I watched a couple clips just to be like, you guys are ridiculous. All these movie stars talking about donating for the COVID-19 and do your part. Why don't you give, just shut your mouths and give your millions? It's so hypocritical that, okay, they gave the stimulus money out, $1,200 per person. But then if you walk out in certain states without a mask on, they're going to fine you $1,000 and they're going to throw you in jail once it's all, they want you to spend. Here it's $250 and up to 30 days in jail. Some places is $1,000 and up to $180 or 180 days in jail. Right there just goes to show you that they're not doing this because they care about the people. It's asinine. It's crazy.
I think one of the guys say Walter Davis. I'm reading the comments. Coronavirus is the head cold. Very contagious, not very deadly. The long-held fear was a deadly head cold.
Mhm.
I mean, I can understand your point because I said something to my wife. Somebody posted something the other day about a picture of and then we did it with the animals when we had the farm. We vaccinated for things. I couldn't afford to pay a vet to come out and do all that. And it's kind of they get kind of mad. You're not supposed to do that, but I do the cheapest thing and try to be as educated as I can when it comes to vaccinating animals. And the coronavirus vaccine, I held this up to my wife and I said, "What is this?" She goes, "Oh, that's for parvo." Now I'm not. I'm assuming it's
That's for
her statement.
dogs.
Yeah. Well, I asked her, "Is this bovine?" She goes, "No, that's dogs." Because I mean, cattle, you treat them with we treat them with uh, the coronavirus, and
Right.
like there's I don't know,
Crazy.
man. I just know it scared people. Everywhere I go, I'm walking out. I don't wear a mask. I don't wear gloves. I took this approach, and my wife at first, because we didn't know, and you're going on the hype. My
Mhm.
wife looked at me. She goes, "You got a death wish?" I said, "No, I don't have a death wish." I said, "I just don't live my life in fear."
Right.
And if it's my time to go, it's my time to go. But I just, I'm going out here and not changing anything that I do. And we've been restricted a little bit, but I'm still going and doing what I do. We're in one of the states that they ain't really got crazy, but and now Georgia's our governor's catching hell for opening things back up. Will it backfire? I don't know. I mean, I've
Right.
thought about that, and I've told you. I said, they might open up. Go, the numbers are jumping. We got to shut it back
Shut it
down.
back down. Yeah, exactly. This is a great point by Murphy's Law. It says, do you get masked to wear in jail? Yeah. No, you don't. That's
Parvo, yeah,
hey,
parvo and the
Sammy's in the
coronavirus are
house. Again, typical.
Murphy's Law says parvo and the coronavirus are 2 in 1. I worked at a shelter. Parvo is a horrible disease. Yeah, that's what I mean. I can't remember. I think I've had some little ones over the years. Puppies die of parvo. Even I can't remember if we got them vaccinated. It's been a long time trying to remember everything, but I know little puppies die of parvo, and I don't know what it does. Does parvo do the same thing as the corona? So they get the does it shut the lungs off, or they can't breathe? Those are things I don't know because I'm not a vet. But maybe
Hmm.
that's some other stuff for people to investigate. The more info, more info that we know, and by these comments, people putting things up there, and I'm not seeing any stupid comments from trolls or ignorant people. It's a lot of good comments, and it's a lot of good food for thought, man.
Right. Yeah, and your Walter Davis too. Different strands and different species. There's a lot of strands of the coronavirus,
Yes, I believe there
and
is.
well, there is. There's scientifically the common cold is one strand of the coronavirus. Um, and many people know it's called the coronavirus because I think corona stands for crown in Latin or
Yeah,
some.
there's a couple YouTube channels I've been on that they
Yeah.
get deep into looking at what these words mean, where it goes with the Bible, and
Right.
and several other directions, and to me it becomes overwhelming because I'm taking all this info and I'm like, man, I need to just look at the big picture. Big picture,
Yeah.
folks need food, they need shelter, and they need water.
Yeah.
Everything else is not a given.
Food, water, shelter, and means of self-defense, like the prepared mind always says.
Yeah,
So,
a slingshot or something, crossbow. I mean, whatever, anything to, I don't
yep.
know,
Yeah, you're right. Slingshot.
something. Or
Don't buy
you're just one bad dude and you're Bruce Lee, whatever.
don't buy a slingshot on eBay or whatever. I bought a bunch of them and they all break.
You get
Go
one from Wuhan.
to
You like those Wuhan cigarettes? You can get you a
yeah, the
slingshot from
Wuhan
Wuhan.
cigarette. Yeah, I don't mind if I do.
That Wuhan slingshot, it shoots to kill, man.
Yeah, yeah, it shoots right back at you, right in the forehead.
A little laughter. Yeah, we get some laughter here in just a second. I'll be right back. We'll get some daily dose of 80s
Have a
rocker.
wonderful day, Sammy.
Where's Sammy going? You have a good day, Sammy. Little squeaky.
Little squeaky.
I'll be right back. Hang on.
All right. We're going to end this live stream here. Capricorn 59. Great to see you. I got to go. Walter Davis says, got to go. Have a good day. Stay safe, brother. Also, dogs and cats cannot get parvovirus B19 from an infected person. Pet dogs and cats can get infected with other. You talk about parvo. I can't say that word. That do
Ain't
not-
one way to, if you're getting close to end this show, there ain't but one way to end this show, baby.
Oh my goodness! Everybody, check
Woo.
him out. Now,
I'm gonna
everybody,
start riding around in a truck like this so I can get some more attention.
you know what? You probably, those brokers might give you some more money.
Man, get my hair all messed up on my phone. Well, it just is what it is. We'll make it work. A little hair in the microphone don't hurt nothing.
Like I said, that's where you,
Well, they want to dye and they want to put some streaks in it, in the two fine females in my house, and I'm just like, whatever y'all want to do, I don't care. We'll change it up. I'll change my do every now and then.
change it up. Yeah, look like Joe Exotica from what's that?
AB
Tiger
Exotica,
King. AB Exotica driving down the road, that big old 18-wheeler with his golden hair just flowing through
Blowing
the
out
air.
the window.
Blowing
Yeah,
out
there's
the window.
a guy when my son was little. He loved to watch. At the end, it was the WWW World Wrestling Federation, whatever it was. And there was a wrestler called Gold Dust on there, and he was kind of a weird cat. He'd come out with the blonde hair like this, with a wig on. So, we always got to do something for a little laughter every day, and that's what I tried to do. My father-in-law showed up the other day, and I walked in the house with this on. He liked to fell on the floor and choked on his drink.
Did he?
Yeah. He said, "What is wrong with you?"
Hey man, you gotta laugh. You gotta put a smile on people's
That's-
faces, man.
But I do miss. I had hair like this when I was a teenager in school. I had hair down, long blonde hair down past the shoulders there. I was looking sexy. Makes me feel young again.
Oh, you did? I gotta see a picture of that.
I got some. I got some back in the day.
We gotta see AB with that Goldilocks. Goldilocks.
No, we ain't got much. That's why I told my son. I said, "You better enjoy that hair." I said, "It'll start fading by the time you're late 20s, like it did me."
Phew.
But anyway, we
Yeah,
got to do
but
that.
Yeah, but you get look at that. I mean, you get to choose that hairstyle. You can change it up all the time. But man, that's got to drive the ladies wild, boy.
It is. It's sexy.
All right,
Anyway.
everybody. Thanks for
Y'all have a great Sunday. Enjoy. I do see some people around here, some family time coming around. Cook something and enjoy the day. Here we're getting a little wind. We need to see that.
Wuhan bird nest hair. It's good.
Easy
Wuhan
now.
bird nest hair.
My wig might have not been made in USA. I didn't check that. But there wasn't many choices. You can't get so many things. A lot of stuff's closed still. So
Right.
we try not to light cigarettes around it because it might go whoosh. Danger.
I can
But
only
yeah,
imagine.
folks, y'all have a great Sunday. We'll come up with some more goodness later on in the day and do your homework, find some info, find some food, find you a farmer close by. Look one up. Maybe you can get a bunch of people to go in on a whole beef. Get your
That's a
local
real good
foods.
idea.
I
Real good
used to
idea.
be when I sold vegetables. We had locally grown. I think they're still out there. Check locally grown out.
Locally
Ric
grown.
Flair. I can give you a little woo. Ric Flair. Yeah. Hey man, I've
Flair.
always said if there is a nuclear catastrophe, Ozzy Osbourne and Ric Flair will crawl out of the rocks. They've survived everything.
What about lead singer Mick Jagger? Don't forget about Mick
He's
Jagger.
another one. Yeah, he's another one.
He's like
Anyway,
180. All
Y'all
right.
have a wonderful day and rock out. It's
Fear no
party
man.
time.
Never fear death. Get right with God. Fight the good fight in always. Stay locked and loaded. God bless.